Today we've got Jeremy Schaeffer from Earth Groans with us. Jeremy, just by any chance, do you know what you would call an inexpensive or cheap circumcision? Do you have any idea what that would be called?
Rip off.
Oh, it's called a rip-off!
Ask Jeremy how he knows.
Personal experience? Is that how you know, or what?
No, that is one place that you should never skimp out on.
You got the
budget.
name brand circumcision?
Yeah.
What is the name brand of a circumcision?
I don't know. I don't How do they?
Avera?
What is? Are they still using scalpels, or are they using like scissors? Or I haven't. It's been 35 years. So I don't.
It's
remember
been a
how-
while.
I bet it's laser by now.
Do you think so? I guess
Yeah.
we're probably at that
What
point.
it-
AI.
Do you think the name brand is Maynard Keenan's band Perfect Circle?
Oh, okay.
He sponsors
Circumcisions. Okay.
circumcisions now, yeah.
Yeah. So if any of our listeners are having children or thinking about becoming circumcised anytime soon,
Yeah.
You know who to talk to.
yes.
This is true.
But we didn't bring you on to the podcast to just talk about
Right.
circumcisions, although that
Right.
was a main part of it. And I
Yeah,
guess
of
we'll finish
course.
up with that segment.
Foremost authority.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. When I think of circumcisions, I think of Jeremy Schaeffer from Earth Groans. Is that where you got the groans part of the name?
Oh,
It's-
yeah. How do you know I'm even circumcised? You guys haven't seen
you've got the aura.
You
of a
think I have,
circumcised
yeah.
man.
Yeah. So
I've
anyways,
I've definitely seen. I've stood next to you at the urinal.
I am I'm not bashful at all. I'm actually
I
more
wouldn't be if
insecure-
I had your unit either.
I'm actually more insecure about my my man boobs and my gut than I am of my penis. So I would rather take off my pants than take off my shirt.
Oh,
Well, there
kind
you
of go
go.
like a Pooh Bear
Yeah.
sort of vibe.
Yeah. For real though. I don't know. I just yeah, it's like since I put on a bunch of weight since COVID, not to flash the C card again, but like I just really I put on a lot of weight over COVID, and I just have not been able to lose it. I don't know, because I'm bad at working out and stuff. So
Is it really
anyways.
that important though?
What?
Yeah, losing weight.
Having a fit body? Oh, I don't know. I guess if you want to take your shirt off, if you want to feel good about yourself, which
I suppose. Do you have a hairy
No,
chest?
I don't.
No?
No.
Yeah, that makes it kind
I
of
have hairy nipples that I have to
Oh.
trim. I have to trim my nipples because they look like spiders. They're
you
like
paste
it
it-
looks like
do you-
a creature that hairs come out like this.
Is that how you got your mustache? You just pasted it on
Just-
your upper lip?
It's like Jackass.
So yeah, it's just weird because I'm really not a hairy person, but my nipples for whatever reason just
Jeez.
are crazy.
That's that's
So-
gotta be the worst. It's like, all right, if I'm gonna have a whole if I'm gonna be hairy, I want the whole thing to be hairy. And if I'm not gonna be hairy, certainly don't make the nipples be the thing that is hairy.
Right. Yeah, it is really. It's just off-putting all the way around.
God, what did you do to spite God?
I was born. I don't know.
All right, Jeremy, let's talk about new Earth Groans music. Obviously, that's
All
why
right.
we actually brought you onto the podcast. But
Okay.
it's been I know you kind of been doing the whole EPs, kind of singles here and there kind of stuff. But there's actually new music coming out that the world should know about. So yeah, tell us a
There
little bit
is.
about just kind of where you're at in that process, and then I'm sure we've got other questions about it. But yeah, where you're at in the process
Yeah.
right now with new music.
So we finished our contract last year with Solid State. Actually, this week is the 1-year birthday, whatever, or anniversary of our last record coming out, our last EP, Tongue Tied. So that just came out a year ago this week. So party for that. But we have a couple new just singles. Cause I don't know what I'm doing right now, because we have like we're not going to resign. I think we're just going to like put a couple tracks out independent and kind of see what happens, because the industry is in a really weird place where that's the way, like what the thing that a lot of bands are doing, especially like not like established bands. Like we're not established, so I mean we've been around for a long time, but we're not like a big band yet. So we're just going to put out a couple singles to see, I guess, keep feeding the fans, and then maybe see what comes out of that. Like the main thing for us right now is just like getting tour opportunities and just getting in front of people again. So we're gonna put out a couple singles and see what happens with that.
Sure. So when you say like tour opportunities, do you mean like you want to get on like a bigger bill with some other bands, or like
yeah,
what do you want to do specifically?
Yeah, I mean, for us, like we've done the DIY, I think, for like 8 years at this point, and we can continue to do that, to cater to our fans. But we don't really grow when we do that. We're only basically just catering to our already established fans, which is great, and I want to do that for them. But I'm getting old, and I'm not getting any richer. In fact, I'm somehow getting poorer. I'm getting more and more in debt. And so if I want to actually like pay my bills and stuff, like we need to do, like, if we're gonna do tours, we need to do tours that are a little bit more profitable. And then if we can do support tours with bigger bands, then we can be getting in front of their fan base, and then growing at a faster rate.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we can keep doing the DIY thing, but it's a very, very, very slow grow.
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, and I think it's very important that you guys get on some bigger bills as well, because I mean, Earth Groans puts on a show. Every time I've seen you guys live, I'm like, this is honestly, like, not even trying to butter your biscuits here, but like it's great. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's interactive. I feel like I'm in danger sometimes, which I love. All of that. It's great. It's great all the way around.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. And I mean, like, no matter what show we play, no matter if there's 2 or 200, we're going to have a good time. We're going to put on a good show because it is a lot of fun for us. I do really, really enjoy playing music and performing and stuff. We're just like, we're at a point where it's like, all right, if we're going to like, sync, like, it just has to be worth the squeeze at this point, I guess, is the saying. I've poured everything into Earth Groans over the last like 8 years. Unfortunately, I need to get a little bit more out of it, just because it's actually putting me in a bad spot. Because like I have so much debt because of Earth Groans, unfortunately. But yeah, so I'm just trying to be a little bit smarter, I guess, going forward, instead of just touring DIY and just taking any tour that we can get. We're just at a place that we want to get, I guess, a little more results out of the work that we're putting in. I'm also we didn't talk about this, but I'm like, I just started doing front of house touring, like as a sound guy. So I was just out with on that Silent Planet tour. I was out with Johnny Booth, their band from Long Island, New York.
They're amazing. Yeah.
They are amazing. Yeah. So that was my first tour as being a sound guy. And it was really weird because I was on tour and I was actually making money. I was like, oh, this is sick. This is actually really cool. And because of even just that one tour that I've done, I've already gotten several opportunities that have like come knocking at the door. And it's like, oh, if I can actually make money to tour, like, why wouldn't I do that? Yeah. So, and I really do like running sound also. So I'm kind of hoping that in this year, I think I'm going to just figure out a lot about what I'm going to do with my future. It's like, I mean, I really want to do Earth Groans full time. That's what I want to do. But, the reality is that there's a good chance that Earth Groans might not ever be bigger than what we are already. And I'll always like probably write and record Earth Groans, but as far as like how much effort and priority I make that in my life will kind of determine, I think, will be determined by this year.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I completely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like every time that you're gone, that like your recording schedule and stuff like that gets kind of messed up? Your producing schedule, I should say.
It definitely it is hard to balance, and now that I'm introducing this front of house thing, like my schedule is going to be really weird because it's like I somehow have to figure out how I can manage like the records that I'm working on, recording like my recordings schedule, but also like getting records done and out. Also like me writing, being able to write and record new music. Because what I would love to do is just to be able to like tour 1/3 of the year in Earth Groans, 1/3 of the year is front of house, and 1/3 of the year is studio. Whether I can actually do that, I don't know. That's it. This is the year to figure that out. But I don't know. There might be something that has to, give. But I don't know. Sure. We're going to see. But yeah, it's really, right now it's just figuring things out. But yeah, it is tough to manage it all. And it's tough too, because like I'm getting like, I have a lot of clientele that are like, hey, we want to get in the next like month or whatever. And I'm like, my schedule is so full that I'm like, I honestly actually can't. Like, I don't know how to like, who to cut, like when it comes down to like, oh, I just don't have time for some of these bands. Like, I don't know how to decide like this band I can't do and this band I can do. So
which
that's
ones are
tough.
circumcised and which ones aren't.
Those that have the covenant with God.
One of the things that you mentioned, like, loving to, if Earth Groans could eventually like, become kind of like a supporting band on different bigger tours or whatever. I'm curious, you've been in the industry now long enough as like both a producer, having Earth Groans, and you've been in the industry for a while to know like there's like decision-making process around like who do you have as especially if you're a bigger band, like who do you have as a supporting band or whatever.
Right.
And I'm curious, like, and you don't have to like, I mean, you can speak from experience or whatever, but like, I'm curious, like, what are some of the like criteria or like decision making that's around that to me is really interesting. Like, I see all these bands that I love and Cullen loves, and I'm sure you love, and we see like, they're going on like an album release tour or whatever, and you see like the different bands that might be opening for them. And I've always have been curious, like, why have they decided those bands?
Yeah.
And I would imagine there's like different criteria that they work through to figure that out, or some sort of management person does or whatever. But I'm really curious, like, what, like from your experience, like what has been that decision-making process? And I'm curious about that because obviously that certainly would affect like, where Earth Groans fits in all of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's different than what it used to be. It used to be that bands just toured with whoever they wanted to tour with, and it was sick. But over the years, it's like, especially since streaming, it's like who has the best numbers, who's like but at the end of the day, it's like who's gonna put the asses in the seats. So there's like, who's gonna bring the people, who's gonna sell tickets, and then there is like who is gonna do a favor for us, because like that's why a lot of bands they'll like incorporate like an overseas band on their American tour. Like they'll bring a band from Australia so that they can return the favor for them. Nobody really gets anything for free. So there's always like, who's going to do a favor for them? There's also management and booking. They talk a different language than like band dudes too. Cause band dudes could be like, hey, we want to bring out this band, and management will be like, well, they're not gonna, like, why do you want to bring that band? Like, they're not gonna do anything for the tour. So there's definitely a couple of different like avenues, different angles. There's a lot of politics involved in it, unfortunately. And so if you don't have like a manager that's willing to do all that bidding and schmoozing for you, you're kind of a little bit out of luck. We just signed a new booking agent not too long ago, so we're kind of hoping that he can kind of, I guess, land some of these support tour offers. But But yeah, a lot of politics involved, and it's like, and if you're not one of the cool guys, then you're like, you don't get the tours, you know. So you get into the cool guy group, and then you get all of the tours. So you see a lot of the same bands, like a lot of the same like bands being the one of four, like the opening support slot on a lot of these tours, and that's sick for them. Like that's great. Like, you know, once that happens for them, they're like in, like, you know, they're part of the cool guy group. Unfortunately, we're not one of the cool guys, not yet, anyways.
Which is that's so dumb to me, because I feel like you were talking about back in the day, it seems like it was much more about who's a good hang, right? And if this band is a good hang, that's who I want on tour with me for, you know, 2 or 3 months, and that sounds like a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable for me if I'm a little bit bigger band.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up too, because like oftentimes we hear from artists about like, you know, we brought this person on simply because like, yeah, they can play their instrument or whatever, they can do their part, but like at the end of the day, like they're just a good hang, like they're going to be no drama and they're going to be fun to hang out with. And that's like really the deciding factor why they brought them on. And so, yeah, it's weird to think that like, yeah, you could potentially bring on a band that, yeah, might bring asses to the seats or whatever, but if they're like obnoxious or like not a band that you actually really want to be with, then like you're gonna have to hang out with them for like a month or 2 months or whatever, and like that doesn't seem particularly enjoyable. So that is an interesting dynamic. I get from like a sort of like making money perspective, like, yeah, you want to bring people in that are gonna make you money, but at the same time, it's like you also like want to make life enjoyable for those like 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like a lot of times, like so there's usually like 4 bands, right, that tour together, and usually like the 3 of 4 band is usually like a band that's gonna like sell tickets, and then same with like the 2 of 4, but the 1 of 4 usually just ends up being like, okay, let's talk to management. What's a band that's like got a lot of hype right now? You know, what's a new and up and coming band that has a lot of hype right now? And that's where you get like a lot of the bands that are part of the cool guy group or whatever that are you know, that got some hype. And we've been spinning tires for a really long time. And we never caught on, I guess you could say. And so we're kind of an older band at this point. And so when somebody like in the industry looks at a band like that, they're like, oh, well, if they haven't made it yet, chances are they might not ever make it. So it's hard to get somebody like that to take a chance on you. And like a lot of these people, they don't care about how good your music is. They really like it's about, I guess, the clout, and it's about like what your numbers are doing. So and it makes sense to me, like from a business point of view, it makes sense. So I'm not like, screw these guys in this industry. Like we've never had amazing numbers, so it makes sense. So it's just it's tough, but you know, I'm trying to like make moves going forward that are going to like hopefully get us a little bit better numbers and hopefully turn that around a little bit. But a lot of bands too, or I should say, some opportunities that some bands get is like a bigger band will take out a smaller band just to take a chance on them. And I don't want to say that I don't know. I don't know if we ever really got that opportunity. Like we got to tour some cool bands over the years, but I don't know if we ever had an opportunity where a big band was like, you know what, let's give these guys a chance. And then, you know, see what happens. So like, for instance, like Silent Planet, like one of their big first tickets that I know of anyways, I might be wrong, but For Today took them out as like a supporting band on one of their tours. And then from that point forward, they were like starting to get a lot more offers. And I don't know if we ever really got that kind of opportunity, unfortunately. So
yeah, that makes sense. And that's probably, you know, part of the reason, because like every person that I show your music to who's sort of into the scene is like, this is awesome. Why haven't I heard this before? And that's, it does just kind of feel like it's an exposure thing, you know?
And I mean, when we do get on tour, like the support tours that we've done, we always do really, really well. Like if we can get in front of people, we can do well. It's just getting us in front of people. For some reason, that's the hard part. Like we toured with Johnny Booth like 6 months ago, and that was the most merch that we've ever sold on a tour. Like, yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, because we were actually in front of people that like would like our kind of music. And, we work hard at our show and we work hard at playing really well. And so, yeah, if we can get in front of people, I feel like we can do well. It's just us actually getting in front of people is apparently the hard part.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that's like
South Dakota problems.
One of the things that's disappointing to see in recent years is, like you'll see these like sort of supporting bands that might be like getting a little bit of hype right now in terms of like streaming numbers or whatever, but then you see them actually live and you're like, this is not like very good. Either they don't sound good or they're like not entertaining or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're not interacting with the crowd, whatever it is. And then like a band like yourself, right? Like you're running around in the crowd. Like, I mean, you're all into it. And like that's what's disappointing is like, you get some of these artists. And one of my like favorite things as a fan of music is going to a live show and being surprised by one of the opening bands.
Yeah.
Like, that is one of my favorite things ever. Like if you want to like get me hooked onto you as an artist, the best way to do that is to be entertaining, like be interesting, like be something different. In terms of live performances, like that is the best way of doing it. That's why, like, again, like I know Cullen and I talk about the Chariot all the time, but like that's why the Chariot became such a big thing for, I would imagine, a lot of bands, is they were so different than all of the bands in terms of sound, but also the live performances when they were probably touring with like some big artists at the time. I don't know, Under Oath or whoever it would have been, right, at the time, but they would have just been so different. And so to know like a band like Earth Groans and like you put everything into it in terms of live performance, and that should like set a band apart, I think. And it's unfortunate that you don't see too much of a value of that at like from the business people that are making all these decisions.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
So anyway, sounds like we've aired our grievances, right?
Yeah, we're just old dudes griping about the kids these days.
That darn cloud.
But no, it's I mean, like I sound a little bit jaded, and I'm not trying to sound jaded is what I'm saying about the industry. I still love making music and I still love everything that goes into it. It can be a really frustrating industry because it's not really fair. It's not like a normal job, you go there, you work, and you can rise up in the company, right? And that's usually pretty much how, like, you work hard and then you climb the ladder. But in the music industry, you can work just as hard on day one as year 8, and it doesn't mean that you're actually going to be any higher on the ladder. So it is tough. But yeah, I still am really passionate about music and still really passionate about playing it and performing and everything. So I still love all of that. It is just a really hard industry.
Yeah. Well, I like that you have that attitude though, because I think that's what's going to help you and Earth Groans and the music and the creativity side of you really soldier on.
Yeah.
So, now did I see on TikTok that you're selling Shure mics now too? You're helping.
So this is really weird. I have a pretty big TikTok, Instagram following just from doing like reels and covers and stuff. And because of that, they're Shure like launched a new microphone. And
it's like the SM7B, but it's like a actual like USB connection one, right?
Actually, no, it just has a built-in preamp.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So they had like the SM7B, which is a famous microphone forever. But everyone's gripe is that it doesn't have enough output. And so you would always have to like buy like a cloud lifter.
Yeah, I've got a cloud lifter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyways, they just came out with like the 7dB. And anyways, they messaged me. Somehow they contacted me through Amazon. I don't remember how I did it, but so I've been doing like Amazon affiliate stuff for like a few years too, just to like making a little couple extra bucks here and there. But anyways, they messaged me through Amazon saying that they had this new product, and if I get people to buy through my like videos and stuff like that, I'll get like a bigger commission. So I don't remember it's called, like creator connections or something like that. But anyways, it's like some people do that, and they'll like once you are like I don't know if you have a big enough following or whatever it is, they'll like invite you into this program, and then you can like make more commission. So like, yeah, I make 10% commission on every mic that I like that is purchased through my link. So yeah, it's like $50 because it's like a $500 microphone.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I just made a couple like videos and stuff like that, and made a $150 or I don't remember how much I've made so far, but yeah. So if you want to buy an SM7DB, which is a great microphone, it's like awesome. Like I'm glad that they finally like fixed that. Anyways, go.
Yeah, if I didn't already have what I have for a microphone with the SM7B, like I would have totally gotten that. But I bought this like 4 years or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm looking to upgrade and potentially get one because I really like that idea, and I think it'll handle like a little bit heavier vocals too, from the sounds of it. Right?
Yeah. So the 7, like,
because generally
the Shure microphone is just like all the way around. It's like a great microphone for taking loud sources. So if you're doing a podcast, like it's obviously really great. Like you barely have to do anything, a little bit of compression and that's it. And it's good to go. And then if you want to like scream into it, it's also like my favorite screaming mic, like in the studio, like that's what I always put in front of people when they're doing screams. So yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Well, that's super cool. I love your TikTok covers and stuff like
Thank
that
you.
too. Like you did a great job.
Appreciate
it. I think you did Eye of the Storm by Blindside once.
I did about
or was it Caught a Glimpse?
I did About a Burning Fire, and then
Burning Fire.
And then let's see, I might have done another one too. I've done like at this point I've done over 200, which is crazy. But it's been fun. It's made me a better vocalist. It was something I started over COVID, just to kind of like, I guess, keep busy. And it was something I've always wanted to do. And then it just like really started taking off for me. So I was like, okay, I'll keep doing it. And then I've just stayed busy with it like ever since. And it's like gotten some really cool opportunities for me. Like, honestly, I've had more luck doing vocal covers. Like I've had more success with vocal covers than I have had with my own band. So it's whatever. I mean, it's not the way that I want to gain fans, but like because of the covers, I've had a lot of people like find out about Earth Groans. So it's cool. Yeah. Like even on this tour that I was on doing front of house, I did front of house, and then I also like ran the Johnny Booth's merch, and like I had several people come up to me a night and say, dude, I love your vocal covers. I'm like, sick. I'm in a band too. Have you heard of Earth Groans? And like half of them have never heard of Earth Groans. And I was like, okay, well, and then I would take their phone and be like, okay, go, if you like my vocal covers, go listen to this band now. So I don't know. And they were awesome. Probably like, yeah, his vocal covers are better.
Well, it's unfair. I mean, you're talking about like the biggest songs in the heavy genre. I mean, of course that's gonna be like pretty much tough to compete with no matter what.
But I understand why vocal covers are it's different because it's like something that you're already familiar with. And then like just hearing it through a new light, but like investing time into a new band is a whole thing. It's like you can like if a band has clout or whatever, you can be like, okay, I'm gonna go listen to this band because everyone else is talking about how cool they are, and you have to invest time into deciding if you like it or not. So that's a thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Wow. It seems like you just have too many irons in the fire all
I have
the
a
time.
lot, and I'm a very ambitious person. I've always said I have too many aspirations for one lifetime, and it's really tough because like there are several other things that I want to do. Like I wanted to start a booking agency like for bands. Like that was something that I've always wanted to do, but never have had like the time because it's a lot. And then like I I also want to do like art, like painting. Like I want to do that full time. I haven't really had much time for that since after COVID. Like, cause during COVID I did a bunch. And then once COVID was over, then I was back to the studio. But anyways, yeah, I just have too many things that I really want to pursue and just don't have the time for it. But
so the starving artist.
Yeah, for sure.
The starving artist. Oh man, the starving artist. There will always be. It's not even just a trope anymore. It's a way of being at this point.
For sure.
Yeah. The artist with too long of nipple hairs.
That's true.
Do you ever play the nipple bass?
No, but ding 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 ding.
You could play. You could come out on stage and at least like if you were too embarrassed by your nipple hair, then you could like at least like make that thing a little higher and then
yeah. Oh, that's true.
Do it Primus style.
Yeah. That's how
we've seen you play. Mason and I have seen you play bass. You know,
very poorly. Yes.
Not as poorly as at least as me playing drums or singing.
Or me. Yeah.
I just watch what everybody else does and then I just like find the notes. But yeah.
The roots.
Yeah. That's all I gotta do.
It's all about finding the notes.
All right. Are we ready for we go with that, Cullen?
Yeah, we can move on here.
Jeremy, you ready for you could do either or both and. We're millennials, so you could do both and. So you could do either the artists who on paper you should like, but for whatever reason you don't, or you could do if you wanted to, if you're really ambitious, you could do artists that you shouldn't like, but for whatever reason on paper, or on paper you shouldn't like, but you do like. So, wherever you want to begin, however you want to do that.
Okay, this is gonna be tough. I'll see if I can power through this. The first one that I will say on paper I should like but don't is probably going to be I just had a stroke and forgot the name of the band. Who sings Helena? My Chemical Romance. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. So the pressure, I can't take it. I crack under pressure. So I think My Chemical Romance is probably the first band that I just have never gotten into. And I grew up like wearing all black and eyeliner and like the white striped. I had like the swoop, everything. But yeah, I just I never got into them. But I also somehow I went from like listening to the Backstreet Boys to A Job for a Cowboy, and I kind of like skipped. I skipped.
Jesus. Like, are you still suffering from the whiplash?
Dude, I still I skipped over like the whole emo movement. I don't know what happened.
What kind of CTE do you have going on in your brain?
I don't know, but
you've got the brain of a former NFL player. Good
but
God.
I was like, I thought I was dressing like an emo kid, but I thought I was dressing like a metal kid because I guess I grew up in South Dakota. I'm just like, oh, they're metal.
They're all the same.
Wear this. So I don't know. But anyway, so I somehow like missed the whole emo movement and then came back to it later in life, like 5 years ago. And then went and listened to all these emo bands that I should have liked. And some of them I did like, but a lot of them I never did. And My Chemical Romance is like everyone's favorite band. And I was like, what? How? Why?
I get it.
I don't know.
I totally get it.
Yeah. You had to be there. It's like one of those.
I just can't get into his voice. There's just nothing about it where I'm like, this is interesting to me.
All I remember is that a lot of the girls I was interested in middle school were really into Gerard Way, who's the lead singer. And so I was like, okay, that must be okay. Then I should probably like that as well so that I can also, make some headway with some of these girls I'm interested in, So that's where it starts. Then you listen enough, and then you just.
That's how you get a supporting band. Is you get all the young girls, the teenage girls, to get in your band, and then you get all the boys to like like your band because the teenage girls were in your band. Like that's, and then all of a sudden now you're touring with Under Oath.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting is all the girls are really starting to get interested in mustaches again. You know how like we went through like a little bit of like a lull here for like the last like 5-6 years. Now all of a sudden they're like, hey, mustache season's back.
Yeah. Why don't you send them my way, because all the girls that I talk to still aren't into it. So, and by all the girls I talk to, I don't talk to any girls. So that
all the 3 girls from Scotland, South Dakota.
Yeah.
You're talking to Doreen down the corner.
Doreen.
She's a pensioner.
Yep. So anyways.
VFW.
Is there a VFW in Scotland?
Yes, of course there is. They have.
Do you make your way down there once in a while for $2 calls?
No, I don't. I still don't know what a VFW is or what it's for.
Veterans of Foreign Wars, and it's meant to like support.
Okay, but there are never any veterans there hanging out, are there? Like what? Like
almost all the time.
Oh, really? Oh, so that's just
it's usually run by veterans,
and they get cheap
have like
beer.
meetings there and stuff like that.
Okay,
very
that
cheap
part
beer.
I knew, but
yeah,
okay, interesting.
There's usually bingo night, so they're like doing like
I mean the only thing that I've ever known VFWs for is we would have shows in the basement. But there was never any like dude hanging out over there that was like a veteran, I guess. So I never.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I guess I don't.
Well, I mean, like veterans can look like anybody, though. I mean, like, are you just like expecting there to be a guy at the end of the bar with like a helmet on,
just like with his suit on? I don't know. No, I mean, I guess I just like there's never anybody. Anytime I've been to one, there's never anyone there. So that's
interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just here to learn. So, yeah.
Well, I just figured that everyone from South Dakota knew that VFWs are like a staple of where we're from.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So what's another one of them bands that are good on paper?
Yeah.
But you
where
don't like
to go next? Let's see. I'm gonna say Lorna Shore. I know that's a tough one.
I totally get this one though.
So I think and it's the same way for like Slaughter to Prevail for me. It's like the bands, they're very much it's like a vocal driven band. Like it's like a shock factor thing. It's like, oh, this dude can make disgusting sounds, and because of that, it works. And I think they're both phenomenal vocalists. I really do. But I just I don't necessarily get into their music as much. I'm just like, I can see why people are into this because it's something really new and like crazy. But when it comes down to like good foundational music and such, like I don't know. Like I've tried to like really get into Lorna Shore. Like I've like listened through the record and I'm just like, and it's also like they're kind of like they're like pull a lot of influence from black metal, and black metal was never my thing as much.
Right.
And Slaughter to Prevail to me is like a Rise record band with heavy vocals. So I don't know. Yeah. And like there are times where I hear something, I'm like, dude, that's freaking sick. But as a whole, and for how much clout that they have, I'm just like I'm not as far on board with it as everybody else, but it might be because I look at it from like a different lens, maybe.
Sure.
So
yeah, I've always kind of felt like they're both just a little too gimmicky. I almost feel like, and I'm not like you said, I'm not taking away from their talent.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when I know people who aren't metal people or heavy music people that like Lorna Shore, I'm so confused. And I get that it's a TikTok thing, but I'm super confused by how you could cross that bridge, but then you couldn't like a lot of these other bands. You know? I don't know. It is a shock rock thing.
Yeah. And that's cool. Like, I understand it. Like, I feel like that's the way, like a lot of bands that are as big as they are is because they did something really new and crazy that like people didn't expect or something. It's just something fresh, I guess, probably. And the sounds that some of these dudes are making are like unhuman. So it's cool. Like I'm always about progression as artists and stuff. And I think that some of the things that these artists are doing, are really crazy and really cool. So I respect
Yeah.
that. It's just like some of that music that I just like, it's hard for me just to actually be a big fan of. So
Sure.
I listen to on the regular.
So something that's frustrated me about Lorna Shore too is this. My wife and I, when we got married, we started planning out our kids' names like way in advance because we're like, we just want like really cool names. And the name we were going to name our daughter, if we ever have one, is Lorna.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
now that's never going to happen.
Sure.
Because all I'd have to do every time that like little Lorna walks in the room, I'd be playing Lorna Shore so that
is Emery or
wife is, like,
Amberlin still on the table?
terrified. No, that never was. All right, let's do one more band. Either a band that you like on paper, but you don't actually like, or you don't like on paper, but you do like.
I'm gonna keep with I'm gonna keep on the bands on paper I should like, but I don't. So I love
negativity.
I love pop music. I love hip hop, and I love most of the top 40 stuff. But I do not get Drake.
Oh,
yeah,
totally understandable.
I don't know. Everybody loves Drake, and I just can't. I don't know why, but there's something about what he does. Even anytime he features, I'm like, I don't like it. I don't know. Like, I'll listen to Cardi B all day. I'll put on like Logic. I'll put on Eminem. I'll put on I don't know. I'm just trying Suicide Boys, whatever. And then
name a couple more white rappers.
I don't know. I'm not racist.
Wait, isn't that a Joyner? That's a Joyner Lucas song. So you're good.
Okay. But I get Drake, the whole thing about Drake. Like at this point, it just feels like he's just like a meme. He like everything about him is a meme, and it's like, what is there actually any substance behind the meme?
Yeah. I don't know. It's the way his.
All I can think about.
There's something about the texture of his voice too. It's like almost too silky. I'm like, this isn't a real person. This is a robot. This was AI generated.
Yeah. It does kind of sound like if you've ever seen the movie War Games.
I missed that one.
Sometimes when he sings, it kind of sounds like the robot from War Games. Not the robot, the computer program, I should say. Joshua is the name of the computer program. And it's like, shall we play a game? But they're like the way, like the vocal range is like the exact same. The way it like kind of grits a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I mean,
if you hear it, you'll know.
That's what I could think of. Like, if somebody told me that this is an AI generated vocal, I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. All I can ever think about when I think about Drake is when he was a paraplegic on Degrassi.
What?
I forget about that.
Yeah. So he started off on this TV show, this like tween TV show. And he's like this paraplegic guy. And he rolls around and he's like, he's a paraplegic guy on a show. And it's so awkward thinking about what he became.
It's like when you find out that like Britney Spears and Ryan Gosling were on like the Mickey Mouse Club or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
the Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah. It's like a really like, heartfelt kind of show. And then here's Drake 5 years later talking about the most misogynist things you can think of. So it's just weird to me. Yeah,
I get that.
Do you want to do it? Do you want to do any more?
Do you have at least one where you're like, on paper, I should not like this artist, but for whatever reason, I'm just like obsessed?
Oh man. Not.
I can see you. I could see you like on paper really disliking Ice Spice, but then in real life you love her.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody that actually would stick out. I would say the only thing that I could say is probably, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I just freaking had a stroke again. Hold on, you're gonna have to G-Eazy, because of how wretched he is. I don't really like to listen to music that's like super like lyrically like bad. I mean, just because I don't like to put my brain through that. But he is like the most wretched like rapper out there, but I freaking love G-Eazy. Like he's one of my favorites. But
That's
I can't
funny.
like there are
That's
times
cool,
where I
though.
have to like, okay, I have to turn this off because it's getting to me too much.
I was really nervous you're going to say something like Tom McDonald or something.
No. But G-Eazy, I would say that's the one on paper because of like my convictions and whatever. But yeah, because his music, his lyrics are so wretched. Like my friend, my friend Derek, who plays drums in Earth Groans, he loves to listen to wretched music, and he's like, every time I put it on, he's like, I'm so surprised that you like this band. I'm like, I can't help it, dude. It's just so good. And he's like, it's so filthy.
Yeah. I have that exact same thing. I don't know if it's like the good Christian boy that I grew up as, but like there's a lot of that, especially the hip hop music that I cannot listen to because I'm like, oh, I just feel so gross.
Start listening
to
to Dear Slim.
Yeah.
Like if I played that around my mom, she would disown me.
For sure.
She put you up for adoption.
Yeah.
At 35.
Dude, my mom burned my Chingy CD in front of me. Like, imagine what would happen if she heard G-Eazy.
Yeah. She'd burn you with it.
She'd be like, "You're done too."
That's a good list, though. It's always shocking, like how much into the top 40 stuff you are. Like I always forget that
love
about
it. I'll
you.
listen. Like honestly, I listen to that far more than I listen to metalcore. But again, I also work in metalcore, so like if I hear a metalcore band, like come on, I am like studying the music, I'm studying the production, so my brain is always working when I hear a metalcore band.
I get that.
So if I want to like relax and like take a break from work, it's gonna be
go to Sioux Falls, go to the Empire Mall or whatever.
Yes,
Sioux Empire Mall. Go hang out.
Walk down to the.
When's the last time you've been in the Sioux Empire Mall? When's the last time you've been in the Sioux Empire
you asked
Mall?
me that. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I haven't been there in a while. I think that actually the last time I went there because I wanted some horrible mall Chinese food. I don't think I went there to shop. I just wanted the terrible, like the really like all 100% MSG like mall Chinese food. But that makes total sense to me. And then I felt awful, of course, afterwards. But I don't remember the last time I went there to actually shop.
Yeah. It is kind of weird. Like I haven't been in a mall in a long, long time.
You and a lot of other people. There's a reason why they are.
Times are a changing. Yeah. That's right.
I think I might have gone there to go to like the shoe store. Because they always have a couple different shoe stores. And I hate buying shoes. Like buying shoes is one of my, like I buy shoes once every 2 to 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
I hate buying shoes. I will wear my shoes out, and I hate getting like for the first month of owning new shoes, they just feel terrible because they're not like worn in yet. Right. I would rather buy somebody's old shoes than have to go buy new shoes.
What size do you wear?
10.5.
Oh, really? Yeah. You're pretty tall for a 10.5 shoe.
I don't know.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. And you're how I know that the old size of the feet thing don't matter.
What?
You catch my drift. Oh, you know what they say about big feet?
What?
Big shoes.
Big shoes.
Of course.
Hey, have you never heard
celebrity
this
socks?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, how's your sock business?
It's not doing so good. Times have been tough. People are really locking up their socks tight these days.
Yeah, it's just been hard to get them, is what you're saying.
Yeah, which is actually funny because I just talked to somebody the other day that said when he goes on tour, he wears his socks and then throws them away. He wears them for like a day or two and then just throws them away. He doesn't.
Good God, that's like almost as bad as like Taylor Swift and her private jet.
Yeah.
I saw a joke the other day that was like I use I use paper straws so that Taylor Swift can fly in her private jet. It's like that's dedication.
And Creflo Dollar's sitting down there in the South. He's like, I'll raise your jet, Taylor Swift. Here's a Boeing 747.
Well, along those lines,
right.
Jeremy, what do you want to plug? Obviously, new music is eventually going to come out from the Earth Groans camp, and obviously you guys want to do tours and everything. But yeah, anything that fans right now can expect from y'all.
So I guess so Earth Groans is gonna have some new music, hopefully soon-ish. There's my crotch, my circumcised crotch. Yep.
Woo.
So Earth Groans is gonna have some new music coming out in the next, hopefully, I want to say like month and a half to 2 months. Depends on. I mean, streaming stuff is weird. Like you have to book it like a month and a half out so you can pitch it for playlists and stuff. But yeah, so hopefully a month or so, and then we're also gonna have like. I was talking to these guys about it, but we're going to be doing rebrand. So we're going to have a whole new line of merch, which will hopefully be sick. Yeah. So we'll have some new music, some new merch, some new videos, whole load of new content coming out in the next few months. So that's probably the biggest thing. We don't have any tours currently lined up, but we are working on some that will hopefully come with the new music also. But still waiting to hear back on a couple festivals. Yeah, nothing too crazy other than just new content and new music, which is always exciting.
Beautiful. Can't wait. That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I always love getting me some merch or some Earth Groans merch as well. You guys got good stuff. So
I invest as much effort and time and energy into merch as I do music, because I think it's as equally as important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah. So I have a new endeavor that I just started recently. Actually, my cat helped me with this one.
Nice.
He's one of my partners. So this is a weird one, but it's mummified bats and other small animals.
Okay.
So it started with bats. But so we have a lot of bats in this town, and actually in my attic I have a lot of bats. So with a little hunting, I'm able to like locate bats, and I'm usually, they're dead. I don't kill any of them. I let them die from natural causes or from my cat killing them. Yeah, I get these mummified bats, and then I put them in glass frames, and so
and display them.
Yeah, it's
or do you sell them?
I sell these. It's like they're like in the glass thing, like it's like a portrait, but an actual like mummified. Yeah, arms out.
Do you like spread out their wings and everything?
I don't try to like manipulate them after they've died. Most of them, they come like, you'll find them like usually face down with their arms out. So yeah.
Sure. Do you ever like put like cute little suits on them?
I haven't, but that's not a bad idea. Like giving one a little bow tie might be, or maybe some sunglasses or something like that.
Ooh,
sunglasses on a bat could be pretty cool.
Maybe like a Batman logo on their chest or something.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's in a parallel universe that probably exists. Yeah,
I'm sure it does. Well, if it's in a parallel universe, that means it exists in our universe.
Right, that's true.
So that means you got to do it.
Yeah. I guess the next mummified bat I find, that will be.
I do have a virtually limitless supply of bats.
Really?
The school that I work at has a very, very old part of the building that they're about to tear down. But my old classroom was in like the very top floor of this building, the third floor, and it's old and crusty and nasty.
Nice.
I went up there 2 weeks ago to go grab something that I left up there, and there were 3 bats hanging from the ceiling. Wow. And 2 or 3 of I think it was 2 of them that were laying on the ground, completely mummified, just as you were talking about.
Send them over.
I'll send them over. I'll keep them pristine and in good shape and everything like that for you.
Don't be eating any of their feces though. That's how you get brain cancer or something.
Right.
Something with their poop gives you brain problems.
Or COVID maybe.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah. You know what you could do is you could go into if you do decide that you want to go get a new record label, you could bring a bat with you, and then as you sit down at the negotiating table, just bite his head off like
Works
Ozzy
for
Osbourne
Ozzy,
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it works for Ozzy, it'll
That's
work
true.
for you.
I've heard
This guy's so
that.
crazy, he
I've
deserves
heard
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
funny
I
bat
think it'd work.
story. There was one time. Actually, I've had a couple bats get in the studio while bands are here, just because we also have a lot of bats out here. And
Yeah.
I live in the highest mountain, highest hill of the town. The highest point in the city, the town.
At what,
Anyways,
200 feet
so-
of elevation?
It's very high. But yeah, so a lot of bats live up in my area. I live like by a couple like Victorian houses too. So yeah, it's perfect for vampires. But I had a bat get into the band suite, and it was like it couldn't have happened to a better band, because this band is like rock star. Like they like act it. They have the egos, everything. So this bat.
So you guys had light work in it.
Nope. I won't say that.
No, they're the most humble
Okay.
guys.
Yeah, no, they're great guys. I actually have had them here, but so I won't say the name of the band because I don't want to give away. But yeah, so they're just like, they really like, they're rock stars, and this freaking bat like shows up, and so I catch it. And I release it outside because that's what kind of guy I am. You know, I'm not gonna kill a bat. They're also like endangered, I believe.
Yeah.
But
make sure you put that in your Tinder profile, by the way.
Yes. Care about bats. And that's why I preserve them. And that's why I preserve them. I release this bat. It's like 10 at night. Okay. I wake up and I step out of my door, and the lead guy of the band is standing there. He's waiting for me to come out. And he said, "There's another bat." So I'm pretty sure the bat that I threw outside went out, came right back in.
Back in.
And they're like, "You have no idea how much we slept, or how much we didn't sleep last night because that bat was in here." Like, they were too scared of it. And so I walk in there and I see it. It's hanging on. I have a wood wall. Like a old wood wall, whatever. And I brought gloves with me because you don't want to get bit by a bat. And I put on this leather glove, and I go and I grab it off of the wall, and I go and I release it again. And they're like amazed that I grabbed the bat after they were fighting with it all night. They were trying to hit it with it. They broke a broom trying to kill it. And I just walked over and grabbed it and like let it go, and they like could not believe that I did.
The bat whisperer.
I'm the bat whisperer.
You know, I didn't go to a lot of college parties while I was in college, but there was one I did go to, and when I walked in, everyone was like kind of huddled up in a corner, and I was like, "What's going on?" They're like, "There's a bat in here." I'm like, "You guys got a broom?" And they grabbed a broom for me, and like I was like trying to act all cool and everything, and I just like very like confidently just took one swing at it, and I knocked it out, and everyone was like gobsmacked. They're like, "How did you do that? Oh my gosh, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen." It's like, I mean, I used to play no big deal.
Big whiffer.
Well, I'm glad to know that the bat mummification business. I didn't know that there was an industry for it, but I'm glad it still exists. I'm glad to know that there are clearly goth girls still out there that are interested in this. So I'm and hopefully those goth girls eventually find out about Earth Groans too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully this goes better than my the celebrity sock sewing thing. So
I think it will. I think it will. You know, I think what you could also do is you could like put little socks on the bats.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty good idea. That would actually
and then give them like celebrity names.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Give them like little chains with the like.
Yeah. This is Bat Drake.
His music's better than actual Drake.
And less misogynist.
Jeremy, thank you so much for chatting about New Earth Groans. You've been on the podcast so many times now.
This is like my third time, fourth time.
Yeah, third time.
Yep. I
Third
should
or
get a
fourth,
plaque.
yeah, something
I feel
like
like
that.
there should be a plaque somewhere.
So many times.
You are among our Mount Rushmore of Black Sheep guests.
Awesome.
So, well, as long as you keep making music,
of course, you're Teddy
as
Roosevelt.
long as you keep making music, we're gonna keep inviting you back on. So,
Cool.
Thank you so much for chatting about new music, chatting about bat mummification, and we're hoping to see you sometime soon at a show.
Yeah, sounds good, dudes. Appreciate you having me on.
Love it.